The majestic structure you are seeing right now does not exist. Far away in deep space, enormous towers of gas and dust rise like frozen smoke against the dark. They glow softly, sculpted by forces older than the Earth itself. We call them the Pillars of Creation. They stand 4 light-years tall, suggesting birth and permanence. But their beauty is a trap. In reality, these structures were destroyed thousands of years ago. We are staring at a ghost. And this is the terrifying truth of the speed of light paradox. The universe is already dead, and the news just hasn't reached us yet. When we look at these pillars through our most powerful telescopes, it feels like we are seeing them as they are right now. The image feels immediate, almost intimate, as if space is transparent and honest. But light does not travel instantly. It moves at a fixed speed, and that speed turns distance into delay. The light reaching us today left those pillars 7,000 years ago, before the first cities were built on Earth, before written history, before the modern world had taken shape. We are not looking across space. We are looking back through deep time. The photons striking our eyes carry an image of the ancient past, masquerading as the present moment. We are watching a movie that ended millennia ago. The pillars are formed from cold hydrogen gas and fine cosmic dust, slowly eroded by the intense radiation from nearby newborn stars. They appear solid to us, like mountains floating in the void, but they are delicate. Massive stars are born dangerously close to them, and massive stars do not age gently. They live fast, burn bright, and die violently. When such a star explodes as a supernova, it releases a shockwave powerful enough to tear apart entire clouds, scattering them into nothingness. Astronomers believe one of these explosions may have already happened near the Pillars of Creation. Evidence suggests a shockwave began ripping through them 6,000 years ago, erasing them from the galaxy completely. If that catastrophic blast truly occurred 6,000 years ago, there would be no immediate sign for us here on Earth. The information of the destruction travels only as fast as light itself. It crawls across the vast emptiness. Until that final signal arrives, the pillars remain visible to us, calm and untouched in our telescopes. This means something deeply unsettling about our perception of reality. Right now, the structures we admire and study may already be destroyed. Their image survives, traveling through the dark, even if their physical form has been obliterated. We are falling in love with a ghost. We are mapping a geography that has been wiped clean, leaving us with nothing but a lingering illusion. This is the first frightening truth the universe quietly hides from us. Space does not show us what exists. It shows us what existed. Every glance upward is a look backward. Distance is not just a measure of space, but of time itself. Astronomy is not observation in the present tense. It is the study of delayed evidence scattered across unimaginable distances. When you look at the moon, you see it as it was 1 second ago. When you look at the sun, you see the ghost of 8 minutes ago. And when you look at the pillars, you are peering into an era that has long since turned to dust. The deeper we look into the cosmos, the further we drift from the reality of the present. We are isolated in a bubble of old news. The speed of light creates a powerful, unbreakable illusion. Because the signal continues to arrive steadily, we assume the source must still be there. But steady light is not proof of survival. It is only proof that the news of destruction has not yet caught up with us. The universe does not provide live updates. It never has, and it never will. We are like someone receiving letters from a soldier who has already fallen. The words continue to arrive, full of life and hope, even though the hand that wrote them is gone. The delay comforts us, shielding us from the violent changes happening in the dark. It allows us to sleep under a sky that feels permanent, even as stars burn out and worlds end in silence. Even our most advanced technology, like the James Webb Space Telescope, cannot escape this fundamental limit. Larger mirrors do not reveal the present. They reveal deeper history. Sharper images do not show reality as it is now. They only sharpen the record of what once was. Progress in astronomy pushes us further into the past, not closer to the true state of the universe. We build machines to see the beginning of time, but we are blind to the reality of the now. We can see a galaxy forming 13 billion years ago, but we cannot know if our nearest neighbor star is safe today. The better we get at looking, the more ghosts we find. We are archaeologists digging through light, reconstructing a reality that has already moved on. This leads to a profound sense of isolation. We can never truly touch the universe. We can only interact with its memories. It is like trying to have a conversation with a voicemail that was left 1,000,000 years ago. No matter how much we listen, the voice on the other end cannot hear us, and it stopped speaking long before we were born. The universe is not a shared space where we all exist together in the now. It is a collection of lonely timelines that never quite sync up. Every star is an island, not just in space, but in time. We are chemically and temporally locked away from the rest of creation, watching a reality that has already moved on without us. We assume that at least the bright, familiar stars near Earth are safe, stable, and present. But the light illusion does not care about proximity. In the next part, we turn our eyes to a neighbor, a star that feels close, familiar, and permanent, but which may already be the biggest ghost of all. There is a star in our sky that feels close, almost familiar, and its story makes the idea that the universe is already dead deeply personal. If you look toward the constellation of Orion tonight, you will see a bright red point marking the shoulder of the hunter. This star is Betelgeuse. Unlike the faint, distant pillars of creation, Betelgeuse is one of the brightest objects in our night sky. It glows softly with a deep, ominous orange light that can be seen from the middle of a light-polluted city. It feels stable, ancient, and dependable, like a lighthouse that has always been there. But Betelgeuse is none of those things. It is a ticking bomb, and the countdown may have already reached zero without us knowing. Betelgeuse is dying. It is not fading away slowly and peacefully. It is dying violently and unpredictably. It is a red supergiant, a monster star that has burned through most of its hydrogen fuel and has begun to swell outward in a desperate attempt to survive. It is so massive that if you placed it at the center of our solar system, it would swallow Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and even Jupiter. Its surface is unstable, constantly churning, rising and falling like a restless ocean of fire. Astronomers know that this volatile phase does not last long. In cosmic terms, Betelgeuse is living on borrowed time, gasping for breath, and its final moment will be one of the most violent events in the galaxy. When a star of this size finally loses its battle against gravity, it does not just go dark. It collapses inward in a fraction of a second and then detonates as a supernova. For a brief few weeks, it will shine brighter than almost anything else in the sky, possibly becoming visible even during the day. But here is where the horror begins. Betelgeuse is hundreds of light years away from Earth. That distance is not just a measurement of space, it is a measurement of latency. That vast gulf hides a terrifying possibility. The explosion may have already happened. The star we see tonight might essentially be a ghost. If Betelgeuse exploded 500 years ago, perhaps around the year 1500, we would have absolutely no idea today. The light from that cataclysmic event would still be traveling through the vacuum, racing toward Earth at top speed but struggling to cross the immense distance. Right now, at this very moment, the blinding light of the supernova could be rushing through deep space, carrying the news of a star that no longer exists. Yet when we look up tonight, we would continue to see Betelgeuse shining calmly, completely unaware of its violent death. We are looking at a history book and mistaking it for the morning news. We are trusting a signal that is centuries out of date. There is no warning system, no cosmic alarm that rings faster than light, only silence and patience. We are trapped in a lag that makes it impossible to know the true state of our neighborhood. This delay creates a causal disconnect. In our daily lives, cause and effect happen together. You flip a switch, the light turns on. But in the cosmos, cause and effect are torn apart by vast distances. The cause, the collapse of the star, can happen in one era, while the effect, the light reaching our eyes, happens in a completely different era. We are living in the quiet gap between the lightning strike and the roll of thunder. And in that gap, centuries of human history can rise and fall. This reveals that the speed of light is not just about vision, it is about the speed of reality itself. Nothing can travel faster than this limit, not matter, not information, not even gravity. If Betelgeuse were to vanish instantly right now, Earth would not just continue to see it for 600 years, we would continue to feel its gravity for 600 years. The star would physically be gone, but its gravitational ghost would continue to pull on us, curving space as if it were still there. The universe updates its status slowly, pixel by pixel, region by region. We are not just waiting for the image to update, we are waiting for the laws of physics to catch up to the event. However, there is one tiny, ghostly exception to this silence. While light is trapped inside the dying star for hours during the collapse, fighting to escape the dense core, something else escapes instantly: neutrinos. These are subatomic particles that pass through matter as if it weren't there. When the core collapses, a tsunami of neutrinos rushes out into the galaxy near the speed of light, slightly ahead of the visible flash. This means that mere hours before we see the explosion, our underground detectors on Earth might pick up a sudden spike in data, a silent, invisible whisper warning us that the sky is about to break open. But even that warning gives us only a few hours of notice after a 6th-century delay. When the light finally arrives, it will not be a moment of mourning, it will be a moment of transformation. The visible explosion will turn Betelgeuse into a second sun. For weeks, it will cast shadows at night. It will be bright enough to read a book by. It will change the shape of the constellation Orion forever, erasing the hunter's shoulder. Future generations will look up and see a completely different sky than the one we know today. They will witness the violence that we are currently blind to. The universe is constantly changing, but it only allows us to see the changes one by one, like frames in a slow-motion film. This brings us to the ultimate realization about our place in the cosmos. We are not watching a live feed. We are watching a compiled history. The sky is a calendar, where the dates are all mixed up. We see the moon as it was a second ago, the sun as it was minutes ago, and the stars as they were centuries ago. We are the ultimate historians, forced to reconstruct the story of the universe from mail that arrives late. The beauty of the night sky is not that it is peaceful, but that it creates the illusion of peace by hiding the violence of the present moment behind the curtain of distance. There is a photo from the Hubble telescope that should not exist. In the center sits a bright, fuzzy galaxy. Around it, perfectly arranged in a cross shape, are four identical blue stars. At first, astronomers thought they were looking at a cluster of 5 objects, but they were wrong. The 4 blue stars are actually the same star, appearing in 4 different places at the exact same time. This is not a glitch in the camera. It is a glitch in space itself. We are looking at a cosmic mirage. The star is real, but its location is a lie. Space has twisted the image so badly that we can no longer trust where anything actually is. This happens because gravity does not just pull on physical objects like planets, it pulls on light itself. When light passes a massive object, like a cluster of galaxies, it gets bent. It curves around the object like water rushing around a stone in a river. This turns the universe into a giant, distorted lens. We are not looking through a clear window. We are looking through a warped glass bottle. The light from a distant star can take multiple paths to reach us. One path goes left, one goes right, and one goes straight. Our eyes get confused. We see the light coming from different directions, so our brain creates 4 copies of a single object. This bending effect creates a time echo. Because the paths have different lengths, the light arrives at different times. Imagine 2 cars driving to the same city. One takes the highway, the other takes a winding back road. They arrive hours apart. The same happens with light. The beam that took the curved path might arrive 20 years later than the beam that went straight. This means we are not just seeing double. We are seeing different moments in history displayed side by side on the same screen. The sky is showing us a live feed and a replay at the exact same time. In 2014, scientists watched a star explode in a distant galaxy. They predicted that because of the curved paths of light, the explosion would appear again in a different spot in the sky a few years later. They waited, and in 2015, it happened. The exact same star exploded again, right on schedule. The universe replayed the death of a star for us. We are watching a movie where the scenes are shuffled and repeated. The timeline of the sky is not a straight line. It is a tangled knot where the past can jump ahead of the present. This breaks our trust in the now. We assume that if we see 2 things happen at the same time, they did happen at the same time. But in a lensed universe, that logic fails. A cluster of galaxies can trap light in a gravity swirl for decades before letting it go. This means the sky is not a history book. It is a puzzle that someone dropped on the floor. We could be watching a star die in one part of the image, while an inch away, the same star is still alive, because that light took a shortcut. The order of events depends entirely on which path the light took to get here. But there is a strange benefit to this damage. This distortion is the only reason we can see the deep universe at all. The warping effect magnifies the light, making faint, distant galaxies look bright and huge. It acts like a natural telescope. Without this broken lens, the earliest stars would be too dark to see. we have made a deal with the cosmos. To see the beginning of time, we have to look through a lens that breaks the image. We accept the illusion because it is the only way to see the dark. We are using the universe's own gravity to boost our vision beyond what our machines can do. However, the image we get is never clean. It is smeared. Galaxies that should look like spirals are stretched into long, thin arcs of light. Some are wrapped into perfect circles known as Einstein rings. These shapes are beautiful, but they are false. They are the funhouse mirror version of reality. To understand what is actually out there, astronomers have to use math to unbend the light and reconstruct the original shape. We are peeling away the layers of an optical illusion, hoping that there is a solid reality underneath, but we are never seeing the object as it truly is. The scariest part is what causes the bending. Often, we see the light curving around a center, but when we look there, we see nothing. No star, no galaxy, just empty black space. This is how we found dark matter. Something invisible and massive is sitting there, bending the light with its gravity, but it refuses to shine. We are seeing the shadow of a monster we cannot look at directly. The distortion is the only proof that it exists. We are mapping the invisible skeleton of the universe by watching how it warps the light of the things behind it. Sometimes, this warping creates fleeting ghosts. There are geometric spots in space called caustics. This is where gravity focuses light so sharply that a single, normal star gets magnified thousands of times. For a brief second, a tiny star becomes visible across the entire universe, flashing like a lighthouse beam before vanishing again. We name them, like the star Earendel, but we only see them because the universe briefly turned into a magnifying glass. It makes you wonder, how many signals, how many civilizations have we missed, simply because the cosmic lens didn't focus on them at the right time? This implies that our map of the universe is fragile. These perfect alignments, Earth, the lens, and the distant galaxy, are accidents. We are peeking through keyholes that open and close over millions of years. For every mirage we catch, we miss a million others just because we are standing in the wrong spot in the galaxy. The universe is full of magic tricks that no one is watching. We think we see the whole picture, but we might just be staring at the exceptions. We are mapping the universe based on its special effects, blind to the reality that doesn't line up perfectly with our telescopes. The deeper we look, the messier it gets. The light from the edge of the universe has passed through billions of years of gravity bumps. It has been tugged by every galaxy and every dark void it crossed. By the time it reaches us, the image of the early universe is like a sheet of paper that was crumpled into a ball and then smoothed out. The creases are still there. We can never see the beginning clearly because the stuff in the middle gets in the way. We are trying to read the first page of history through a kaleidoscope that never stops spinning. This leads to a disturbing thought about space itself. If gravity directs light, then space is not a stage. It is a fluid. It flows, it knots, and it tangles. We are trying to draw straight lines on an ocean that won't sit still. Every map we make is a compromise. Every coordinate is a guess. The steady, grid-like universe we learn about in school is a lie. The real universe is a shifting web where straight doesn't mean anything. The shortest distance between 2 points is rarely a line. It is a curve decided by invisible mass. And yet, even with this broken vision, we are still seeing something. Light, however bent, still arrives. It brings us news, even if the news is scrambled. But there is a deeper form of blindness waiting for us. There are forces in the universe that do not send light at all. They do not bend it. They block it. They hide behind thick curtains of dust where no lens can help us. We have learned to distrust what we see. Now, we must fear what we cannot see. The Hall of Mirrors is confusing, but at least it is bright. The next danger lies in the total dark. There is a specific region of the sky that we are forbidden to see, not by a lack of technology, not by the limits of distance, but by the architecture of our own home. If you try to map the entire universe, about 1/5 of it simply disappears behind a thick, impenetrable band of darkness. This region is known to astronomers as the zone of avoidance. It is not empty space, it is hidden space. The Milky Way is a flat spiral, and looking through its edge is like trying to look through a dense fog bank. The sheer volume of dust, gas, and bright stars in our own galaxy forms a heavy veil that blocks almost all visible light from the universe beyond, creating a blind strip across our cosmic view. This dust is ordinary in origin, mostly carbon and silicates, but it is terrifying in its effect. It acts like a blackout curtain. To us, standing on Earth, it looks like the beautiful glowing band of the Milky Way. To astronomers, it is a prison wall. Behind it, entire galaxies vanish from our instruments. Massive structures disappear into the void. Reality continues on the other side, but our vision ends abruptly. We are like a person standing in a brightly lit room, trying to look out of a window into the night, but seeing only our own reflection in the glass. We are blinded by our own light. At first, this seemed like a simple gap in the map, a missing patch of data. But as scientists began mapping the motion of galaxies instead of just their light, something unsettling appeared. Galaxies near the edge of this hidden region were behaving strangely. They were not drifting randomly. They were not expanding gently with the cosmos. They were flowing. Thousands of galaxies were rushing in the same direction, accelerating as if they were falling down a slope. The universe was tilting, and the bottom of the hill was hidden somewhere behind the veil. Our own galaxy is part of that massive slide. The Milky Way, along with thousands of nearby galaxies in our local supercluster, is drifting through space at a staggering speed of 14 million miles per hour. This motion cannot be explained by the visible matter we see around us. The math does not add up. There is not enough gravity in the visible universe to account for this speed. Something massive is exerting a titanic grip from deep within the zone of avoidance. Something we cannot see directly. It is a ghost in the machine, dragging us across the universe against our will. Astronomers gave this invisible anomaly a careful name, the Great Attractor. Despite the name, it is likely not a single object. It is a region of extreme mass, a terrifying concentration of thousands of unseen galaxies and dark matter all knotted together. But its exact shape remains uncertain. Every attempt to observe it in visible light fails. The dust of our own galaxy absorbs the signal, erasing the detail and replacing it with darkness. We are trying to photograph a mountain while standing inside a blizzard. The harder we look, the more the dust blocks our view. But recently, the mystery deepened. As we mapped the flow more precisely, we realized that the Great Attractor might not be the final destination. It might just be a hill on the way to a mountain. Data suggests that behind the Great Attractor, hidden even deeper in the dust, lies something even larger called the Shapley Supercluster. This is a monster of gravity so vast that it makes the Great Attractor look small. We are falling into a gravity trap inside another gravity trap. The universe has stacked its heaviest weights in the one place we cannot look, creating a cascade of invisible forces that are pulling us deeper into the dark. This flow reveals the true shape of our home. We live in a structure called Laniakea, a Hawaiian word meaning immeasurable heaven. It sounds peaceful, but it is actually a gravitational watershed. Just as water flows down mountains into a valley, gravity flows through the universe. We are just a drop of water in this cosmic river, sliding down the slope of space toward the center. The zone of avoidance hides the drain at the bottom of the basin. We are not exploring the universe freely. We are sliding down a slide that we cannot climb back up. The flow is one way. And it is not just a pull, there is a push. To explain the violent speed of our galaxy, scientists have found evidence of a void directly behind us on the opposite side of the sky. They call it the dipole repeller. It is a region of space so empty, so devoid of matter, that it effectively pushes us away. We are caught in a cosmic crossfire. A giant dead void is repelling us from behind, and a giant invisible mass is dragging us from the front. We are being exiled from one part of the universe and captured by another. And yet, because of the dust, we can barely see the hands that are moving us. Just when we thought we had mapped the danger, a new giant appeared. In 2016, astronomers peering through the thickest part of the zone discovered another massive structure hiding in the gloom, the Vela supercluster. It is huge, spanning millions of light years, and it had been sitting right next to us, unnoticed for all of human history. It is a reminder of how blind we truly are. Even in our own cosmic backyard, titanic structures can hide behind the dust. The map of the universe is not finished. It is filled with invisible continents that we are crashing into. Some evidence suggests the pull goes even further. There is a controversial theory known as dark flow. Some measurements indicate that galaxy clusters are streaming toward a patch of sky between the constellations of Centaurus and Hydra, pulled by something that might lie beyond the observable universe entirely. If this is true, we are not just being pulled by hidden matter, we are being pulled by something outside of reality as we know it. A force from beyond the edge of the map is reaching in and dragging our galaxy toward the exit. It is a tug of war with the unknown. But there is a final irony to this journey. We will never arrive. While gravity pulls us together, dark energy is pulling the universe apart. We are in a race between the slide and the stretch. The Great Attractor is pulling us closer, but space itself is expanding faster than we can fall. We are running on a treadmill that is speeding up. We will spend eternity rushing toward these invisible monsters, reaching for them, but never quite touching them. We are destined to chase a ghost we can never catch, suspended forever in the flow. The zone of avoidance does more than hide stars. It hides the gears of the universe. We see the effects, the speed, the flow, the clustering, but the cause remains obscured. This breaks the promise of science, which tells us that observation leads to truth. Here, observation hits a wall. We are subject to physics that we cannot verify. We are moving pieces in a game where the board is covered. The universe is shaping our destiny, steering our sun and our earth through the void without ever showing us the driver. This turns gravity into the only honest messenger. Light can be blocked. Radio waves can be absorbed, but gravity cannot be stopped. It passes through dust, through planets, through stars. It is the only signal that ignores the walls. We feel the tug of the Great Attractor even if we cannot see it. In a way, we are navigating the universe by touch, feeling the heavy slope of space in the dark. We are blind travelers, reading the curvature of the road to guess where we are going. And the road leads into the one place we cannot look. The most unsettling part is that this blindness is permanent. As we drift closer over billions of years, the dust will not clear. The view will not improve. The zone of avoidance is not a weather system that will pass. It is the structure of the galaxy itself. We are trapped in a cage that travels with us. The mystery of what lies at the heart of the Great Attractor may never be solved visually. We will continue to rush toward it, guided by math and theory, but denied the simple comfort of seeing the destination. And as we are drawn forward by this hidden mass, we are forced to accept a quiet truth. There are monsters in the cosmos that do not roar, do not glow, and do not reveal their shape. They simply pull. In the next part, the universe plays an even stranger trick on our eyes. It shows us motion that seems to break the laws of physics themselves, an explosion that appears to expand faster than light, daring us to believe our eyes once again. But as before, the illusion hides something deeper about the dusty cage we live in. There is a strange moment in modern astronomy when the universe appears to break its own rules. It happens in a quiet corner of our galaxy, near the constellation of Monoceros. In 2002, a star named V838 Monocerotis suddenly seemed to explode outward at an impossible speed. In a series of famous time-lapse images captured by Hubble, a glowing shell of red light raced away from the center, growing larger and larger every month. It looked violent. It looked explosive. It looked like matter itself was outrunning light. For a brief time, it seemed as if physics had failed, and the speed limit of the cosmos had been shattered. When astronomers first saw the images, they were confused. Einstein's laws are clear. Nothing in the universe can move faster than light. That rule has no exceptions. And yet here was a structure growing light years wide in mere months. It was dramatic, clean, and undeniable. If we trusted our eyes, it looked like a physical shockwave was ripping through space faster than reality allows. The universe was misbehaving, and the evidence was caught on camera for the world to see. But the universe was not breaking its rules. It was playing a trick on our perception. What we were seeing was not a movement of mass. It was a light echo. The star did release a massive flash, but no gas was racing outward. Instead, that flash was traveling through a hidden landscape. Imagine shouting in a large canyon. The sound bounces off the walls at different times. This is the visual version of that echo. The flash from the star acts like a sonic boom made of light. It hits the dust surrounding the star and reflects back to us. Because the reflected light takes a longer path than the direct light, it arrives late. We are not seeing the explosion. We are seeing the news of the explosion traveling through the neighborhood. The geometry of this illusion is surprisingly complex. It is not just a simple reflection. We are essentially watching a cosmic CT scan. The light is slicing through the dust cloud, illuminating thin sections of it one by one. The shape we see, that expanding sphere, is actually a mathematical shape called an ellipsoid. As the light travels further, this ellipsoid grows, intersecting with different parts of the stationary dust. It is like a spotlight moving across a dark stage, revealing the scenery piece by piece. The scenery isn't moving. The light is just painting it into existence for our eyes. This reveals a disturbing truth about our maps. They are conditional. We imagine space as vast and empty because most of it does not interact with light in a way we can easily detect. Dust does not glow on its own. It waits. Silent and invisible, it fills the huge gaps between stars like smoke in a dark room. Only when a sudden flash passes through does the dust reveal its presence. This means that many of the images we rely on to understand space are incomplete. They depend on rare, violent events to show us the context. Without the disaster, the map remains blank. The resulting image is hauntingly beautiful. It resembles a painting more than a photograph. The swirling red dust, the intricate knots, and the turbulent eddies look almost exactly like the brushstrokes in Van Gogh's Starry Night. It is a case of nature imitating art, but this beauty is fleeting. As the echo expands, it fades. The light moves on to more distant dust, leaving the inner regions to return to darkness. We are witnessing a temporary masterpiece, drawn by physics on a canvas of cold gas, destined to vanish as soon as the photon stream ends. But this phenomenon is not just about pretty pictures. It allows us to perform a kind of time travel. Astronomers have found light echoes from supernovae that exploded hundreds of years ago. The famous Tycho supernova, which appeared in Earth's sky in 1572, sent out a flash of light that swept past us centuries ago. But some of that light missed Earth and hit distant dust clouds instead. It is reflecting back to us now. By studying these echoes, we can watch a replay of an event that happened before the invention of the telescope. The dust acts as a cosmic DVR, recording the event and playing it back for us on a delay. This turns the galaxy into a hall of records. Every major explosion, every collision, every burst of energy leaves a ripple of light traveling through the interstellar medium. If we look hard enough, we might find the echoes of events we missed entirely. We could theoretically see the light from a supernova that happened in the Middle Ages, appearing faintly on a dust cloud on the other side of the galaxy today. The history of the universe is not lost. It is just bouncing around in the dark, waiting for someone to look in the right direction. However, this also reinforces a dangerous idea. The universe does not present events once. It presents fragments of events scattered across time and direction. What looks like progression may simply be geometry revealing itself slowly. Just as with gravitational lensing, light does not arrive cleanly. It arrives edited by its environment, chopped up and reshuffled. We are watching the same burst of light shown to us again and again, reflected off different surfaces, stretched across years of observation. One moment becomes many. The echo also reminds us that emptiness is an assumption, not a fact. Between stars, between galaxies, space is filled with matter too thin to notice under normal conditions. Dust grains smaller than smoke particles drift for millions of years, shaping how light moves without ever being seen directly. They are silent witnesses to cosmic history. When something violent happens, like the outburst of V838 Monocerotis, these witnesses briefly speak. They scatter light. They draw outlines. They show us where space has substance instead of void. This forces us to reconsider the concept of speed. The expansion looked impossible because we assumed it was physical matter. Once we understand it as illumination, the illusion dissolves, but the initial shock remains important. It reminds us how quickly our intuition fails when faced with cosmic scales. We are not built to interpret light echoes. We are built to interpret movement on a savanna. The universe exploits that weakness. It presents us with data that fits our mental models of explosion, but the reality is totally alien to our instincts. The tragedy of V838 Monocerotis is not just the violent outburst itself. It is the realization that without it, we would still believe that region of space was empty. Violence became a form of revelation. Destruction became a tool for knowledge. This is a recurring pattern in the universe. The most informative moments are often the most catastrophic. Supernovae, collisions, eruptions, collapses. Calm states hide complexity. Extreme events expose it. We learn more from the death of a star than we do from its long, quiet life. The universe only speaks when it screams, and we are the audience waiting for the sound. This creates a paradox of observation. We want a universe that is stable and safe, but a stable universe hides its secrets. To know the truth of what lies in the dark, we need the lights to turn on, and the only switch the universe has is an explosion. We are dependent on catastrophe. Every time a star dies, it lights up the room for a brief moment, allowing us to see the dust, the gas, and the hidden matter that surrounds it. We are assembling a picture of reality based on flashes of violence in the dark. There is also a chemical mystery hidden in the echo. As the light illuminates the dust, we can analyze what that dust is made of. We find carbon. We find silicon. We find the building blocks of planets and life floating aimlessly in the void. This is the ash of previous stars waiting to be recycled. The light echo is not just showing us empty obstacles. It is showing us the graveyard of ancient suns. We are seeing the raw material of future worlds, illuminated by the death throes of a current one. But eventually, the light moves on. The echo expands until it becomes too faint to see. The dust, having had its moment of glory, returns to invisibility. The curtain falls. This impermanence adds to the horror. We caught V838 Monocerotis by luck. How many other echoes are passing through the galaxy right now, unseen, because they are too faint or we aren't looking? The universe is full of silent movies playing to empty theaters. We are missing most of the show. We only catch the brightest, loudest moments, leaving us with a fragmented understanding of the whole. In the end, V838 Monocerotis did not break physics. It broke our trust in appearances. It taught us to doubt the evidence of our own eyes. It reminded us that seeing is not understanding. Seeing is merely the first step in decoding a signal that has been twisted by the journey. The red rose in the sky was a phantom, a ghost of light haunting a shell of dust. It was real, but it was not what it seemed. And if a simple reflection can fool us this badly, what else are we misinterpreting? This deception is visual, spatial, and geometric. It plays tricks with our sense of speed and size, but there is a deeper limit waiting for us. A limit not of geometry, but of time itself. A wall beyond which no image, no echo, and no reflection can ever exist. A boundary where light itself was once trapped, burning in a fire so hot that the universe was opaque. The light echo showed us the hidden present. Now we must travel to the hidden past. In the next part, we reach that wall. We travel back to the moment where the history of the universe stops, and we hit the ultimate barrier of the cosmic microwave background. We are approaching the edge of the visible world. We are moving from the echo of a star to the echo of the Big Bang itself. And unlike the dust, this wall does not fade. It surrounds us forever. There is a limit to vision in the universe. No matter how powerful a telescope becomes, no matter how far we push our technology, there is a specific point beyond which we cannot see. It is not because objects stop existing. It is because light itself runs out of history. If you look far enough back in time, the universe does not become darker. It becomes opaque. You do not see deeper. You hit a wall. This wall surrounds us in every direction, enclosing the Earth in a perfect sphere. It is called the cosmic microwave background, CMB, but that scientific name is far too gentle for what it truly represents. It is the afterglow of a universe that was once on fire. The CMB is often described as the baby picture of the universe, but that is a misleading metaphor. A baby picture is taken from the outside. This is a picture taken from the inside of a furnace. It shows us the universe at a time when it was not a vacuum, but a dense, screaming soup of plasma. Before stars, before galaxies, and before darkness itself existed, the cosmos was a fog of superheated particles. Protons and electrons smashed into each other with such violence that light could not travel in a straight line. The universe was blindingly bright, but it was not transparent. Light existed, but it was trapped, bouncing endlessly inside the fog like a photon in a hall of mirrors. This state lasted for 380,000 years. Then a single, universal event changed everything: the era of recombination. The universe expanded and cooled just enough, down to about 3,000 degrees Kelvin, for the electrons to slow down and settle into orbits around protons. In an instant, the fog cleared. The charged particles became neutral atoms. For the first time in cosmic history, light was released from its prison. Trillions of photons suddenly rushed outward in all directions, free to travel through the void. Those same photons are still traveling today. They are washing over the Earth right now, carrying the image of that final moment of release. This creates a surface of last scattering. Think of it like looking up at a cloud on a rainy day. You can see the bottom of the cloud, but you cannot see inside it or above it. The CMB is the bottom of the cosmic cloud. It is the physical boundary where the universe turned from opaque to clear. We can see everything that happened after the clouds broke, the formation of stars, the swirling of galaxies, but we can never see into the cloud itself. The wall is absolute. It is not a technological limit. It is the horizon of light itself. We are not just late to the show. We are locked out of the rehearsal. But this ancient light has changed during its long journey. When it started, it was a blinding, orange-white glow, as hot as the surface of a red star. But as it traveled for 13.8 billion years, the expansion of the universe stretched the light waves, pulling them apart. The light shifted from visible orange to infrared, and finally into microwaves. The fire has cooled into a ghost. Today, that wall of fire registers as a temperature of 2.7 Kelvin, just barely above absolute zero. We are surrounded by the frozen echo of the Big Bang. The most violent event in history is now the coldest thing in the sky. This ghost is not just in the data, it is in your living room. If you turn on an old analog television to a channel with no signal, you see static, a chaotic dance of black and white snow. About 1% of that static is created by the cosmic microwave background. The antenna is picking up the ancient photons that have been traveling since the dawn of time, and the TV is converting them into visual noise. You are watching the Big Bang. You are seeing the afterglow of creation interacting with your technology. The universe is not silent. It is humming with the remnant energy of its birth, and we are bathed in it every second. What makes the CMB truly unsettling is its uniformity. It looks almost exactly the same in every direction. It is the smoothest object in nature. However, it is not perfectly smooth. If we increase the contrast, we see faint ripples, tiny variations in temperature of just 1 part in 100,000. These ripples are not random noise. They are the seeds of existence. These slightly denser spots had slightly more gravity, pulling in matter over billions of years to form the first galaxies. If the early universe had been perfectly smooth, we would not exist. We are the children of the imperfections in the wall. These ripples reveal another secret. The early universe didn't just glow, it rang. The Big Bang was not a silent explosion. It created massive pressure waves, sound waves, that traveled through the plasma soup. These are called baryon acoustic oscillations. The universe rang like a bell. We cannot hear it today, but we can see the sound waves frozen in the sky. The patterns of hot and cold spots in the CMB are the visual fossil of a sound that was so loud it shaped the distribution of every galaxy we see today. We are looking at the visual sheet music of the First Symphony. But there is a scar on the wall. In the southern hemisphere of the sky, there is a massive region that is significantly colder than the rest of the background. Astronomers call it the Great Cold Spot. It defies statistical probability. It is too big and too cold to be a random fluctuation. Some theories suggest it is a supervoid, a region of space with almost no galaxies. But a darker theory suggests something else. It might be a bruise, a remnant of a collision. This leads to the multiverse theory. If our universe is just one bubble in a vast cosmic foam, it is possible that early in our history, we collided with another universe. The Great Cold Spot could be the impact crater of that collision, a place where another reality pressed against ours, draining the heat and leaving a permanent mark on the sky. If this is true, the CMB is not just a wall. It is a membrane. It is the skin of our universe, and it bears the scars of a violent upbringing in a crowded multiverse. We are staring at the evidence of a neighbor we can never meet. There is another disturbing pattern in the data known as the axis of evil. The hot and cold spots in the CMB should be random, scattered like spilled sand. But they aren't. They seem to align along a strange axis that points back toward our own solar system. This shouldn't be possible. The universe has no center, and the Big Bang happened everywhere at once. Why would the oldest light in the cosmos line up with the Earth? Is it a trick of data processing? Or is the universe structurally aligned in a way that breaks our standard models of cosmology? The wall is trying to tell us something about our place in the geometry of space. The existence of the CMB also changes how we think about outside. We tend to imagine the universe expanding into something, into emptiness. But the CMB reminds us that we have zero evidence of anything beyond this sphere. We are inside a bubble of visibility that travels with us. If you move to a galaxy 1 billion light-years away, you would still see a CMB, but it would be a different slice of the plasma. You would see a different part of the wall. We are trapped in a subjective reality, where the horizon is determined by our location. This wall also represents the ultimate censorship. The physics of the early universe has erased the history of what came before. We know the Big Bang happened, but we cannot see what banged. Was there a contracting universe before ours? Was there a quantum singularity? The CMB hides the answer. It wipes the slate clean. It is an opaque curtain drawn across the first act of the play. We can calculate back to the fraction of a second before the wall formed, but we can never verify it with sight. Physics becomes archaeology, guessing at the shape of the ruins beneath the sand. There is a profound loneliness to this view. We are surrounded by a sphere of fire that we can never breach. We are measuring the temperature of the bars of our cage. For decades, we hoped that neutrinos or gravitational waves might let us see past the wall. But for now, the CMB remains the absolute edge of human vision. It marks the boundary between science and speculation. Everything inside is our universe. Everything outside is a ghost story. We are a species obsessed with horizons, but we have finally found one that we cannot cross. But even this ancient light is fading. As the universe expands, the wavelengths of the CMB are getting longer. In a few 100 billion years, the microwaves will stretch into radio waves, and eventually, the signal will become too faint to detect. Future civilizations will not see the wall of fire. They will look back and see nothing. They will have no way of knowing the Big Bang happened. The evidence of our origin is slowly being erased by the expansion of space. We are living in a privileged time where the clues to our creation are still written on the sky. We are the archivists of a disappearing past. The wall of fire is calm now, cold, faint, easy to overlook in the static between radio channels. But it represents a time when the universe was violent, dense, and blindingly bright. It is the echo of that state, stretched thin across billions of years, and it surrounds us still. We are not observers standing outside the universe, looking in through a telescope. We are inside, pressed against the inner surface of a glowing shell, tracing patterns on its walls and calling it reality. This brings us to the end of our journey into the past. We have seen the illusions of light, the distortion of gravity, and the opaque wall of the beginning. But the universe is not done hiding things. In the next part, it takes something else away from us. Not the past, but the future. We have seen how light limits our view of history. Now we must confront how the expansion of space limits our destiny. As the universe continues to grow, distant galaxies begin to slip beyond our reach, moving faster than light can travel to us. Their light fades forever, crossing a horizon from which there is no return. There is a slow disaster unfolding in the universe, and it is almost impossible to notice because it looks so calm. Space is expanding. We have known this for a century, but recently, we discovered the terrifying context. It is not expanding gently, it is accelerating. Driven by a mysterious force called dark energy, the vacuum of space is pushing galaxies apart faster and faster. This isn't just growth, it is a runaway train. The universe is stretching so violently that it is creating a boundary called the cosmic event horizon. This is the point of no return. Once a galaxy crosses this line, it is disconnected from us forever. This creates a terrifying statistic that most people do not know. According to current calculations, 97% of the observable universe is already gone. The galaxies are still there, shining in the dark, but they have already crossed the horizon. Space between us and them is expanding faster than the speed of light. Their photons are trying to reach us, like a runner on a treadmill moving too fast, but they will never make it. We are looking at a sky full of ghosts, galaxies that seem reachable, but if we sent a signal today, it would chase them forever and never catch up. We are already cut off from the vast majority of creation. This process is not stopping, it is speeding up. Every second, another portion of the universe slips across the horizon and is deleted from our causal reality. This is not destruction, it is deletion. The universe is editing itself, removing the evidence of its own scale. As time passes, the reachable universe shrinks. We are like a ship in the middle of an ocean where the horizon is slowly closing in, narrowing our view until eventually we will only see the water right next to the boat. The cosmos is becoming a landscape of isolation. However, the way these galaxies disappear is not instantaneous. They do not just blink out of existence like a light bulb turning off. They undergo a process called the redshift freeze. As a galaxy approaches the horizon, its light gets stretched by the violent expansion. It shifts from blue to red to infrared and finally into long radio waves. To our eyes, the galaxy will appear to slow down in time. We will watch its final moments frozen, fading exponentially, getting dimmer and dimmer for eternity, but never quite vanishing. It is a Zeno's paradox of darkness. The universe doesn't slam the door. It slowly dims the lights until the memory is gone. While the rest of the universe runs away, our local neighborhood will undergo a dramatic transformation. Gravity is the only force strong enough to fight dark energy, but only at short distances. Our Milky Way is currently crashing toward the Andromeda Galaxy. In about 4 billion years, they will merge to form a single, giant elliptical galaxy nicknamed Milkomeda. This new super-galaxy will be a lonely island. It will contain trillions of stars, but outside its borders, there will be nothing. The rest of the cosmos will have accelerated beyond the horizon, leaving Milkomeda drifting alone in a perfect, endless void. This leads to a chilling realization about the future of science. Civilizations born inside Milkomeda will suffer from cosmic amnesia. When they point their telescopes at the sky, they will see nothing but their own stars. They will see no other galaxies. They will see no evidence of expansion. To them, the universe will appear static, eternal, and lonely. They will build valid laws of physics that describe their local reality, but they will be completely wrong about the history of the cosmos. They will have no way of knowing the Big Bang happened. The evidence will have been erased. This fundamentally changes the definition of truth. Truth usually relies on evidence. But in the future universe, the evidence will be physically gone. Future scientists could be smarter than us with better technology, but they will be doomed to ignorance. They will likely conclude that Milkomeda is the entire universe, surrounded by infinite, empty space. They will lack the cosmic microwave background, which will have faded into undetectable radio waves. They will be trapped in a false physics, deriving logical conclusions from a sky that has hidden all the clues. This confirms that we are living in a golden window of time. We exist in the brief, rare era where the universe is transparent enough to see the Big Bang via the CMB, but compact enough to see distant galaxies. We are the only observers who will ever get the full picture. We are the archivists of reality. The photos we take with the James Webb Telescope are not just data, they are heirlooms. We are capturing the last records of a universe that is breaking apart. If we don't write this down, the information dies with us. We are the witnesses to the peak of cosmic complexity. There is also a physical danger in this isolation. As galaxies leave our horizon, they take their resources with them. We are losing access to matter, energy, and potential new worlds. The universe is becoming resource poor. Any civilization that wants to escape the local group must do so now. The door is closing. If we wait too long, the gap between galaxies will become unbridgeable. We are being fenced in by the expansion, locked into a local bubble that will eventually run out of fuel. The clock is ticking on interstellar travel, not just for us, but for any life in the cosmos. The Great Erasure also solves the paradox of why the sky is dark at night. Olber's paradox. If the universe were static and infinite, every line of sight would end on a star, and the sky would be blindingly bright. The sky is dark because the universe is expanding. The darkness is the expansion. We are seeing the gaps created by the fleeing galaxies. The peace of the night sky is the visible evidence of the disaster. We sleep comfortably under a blanket of darkness that is actually a sign of our isolation. We are looking at the void left behind by things that ran away. This changes how we feel about the void. We used to think of the black space between galaxies as just room to grow. Now we know it is a wedge being driven between us and reality. It is an active agent of separation. The vacuum is not empty. It is full of dark energy, and it is winning the war against gravity. Gravity tries to pull things together. Dark energy pushes them apart, and in the long run, dark energy takes everything. It is the great dissolver, turning structure into soup, and soup into nothingness. This paints a picture of the universe that is not cyclic, but linear and terminal. Ancient cultures believed in circles, seasons returning, worlds reborn. The Great Erasure tells us otherwise. The universe has a beginning, a middle, and a lonely end. It is a story that does not repeat. Once the information is lost, it is lost forever. Entropy and expansion are the writers of this story, and they only write in one direction, towards silence. We are reading the book while the pages are still intact, unaware that the ink is fading on the chapters ahead. This silence will be the longest era of the universe. The era of stars is short. The era of isolation will last forever. For trillions of years, the stellar remnants in Milkomeda will circle each other in the dark, with no view of the outside world. The universe will become a collection of lonely crypts, drifting apart in an infinite void, unaware of each other's existence. It turns the cosmos into a graveyard of separate realities, where no signal can ever cross the gap between the graves. It is the ultimate social distancing, enforced by the laws of physics. And yet, there is a strange beauty in this scarcity. Because the universe is fleeing, the light we do receive is precious. Every photon from a distant galaxy is a victory against the expansion. It fought the stretching of space for billions of years to hit our retina. Seeing a distant star is an act of defiance. We are catching the light before the universe can steal it away. It makes astronomy an act of rebellion. We are stealing secrets from the dark before the vault closes permanently. So, what are we? We are the species that woke up just before the curtains closed. We are the intelligence that evolved during the brief flash of the universe's visibility. We are not the masters of space. We are its momentary guests. We have a front row seat to the spectacle of the cosmos, a spectacle that future eyes will be denied. Our telescopes are not just scientific instruments. They are time machines keeping the past alive. We carry the burden of knowing what the universe used to be. Eventually, even the memory of this era will fade. If humanity, or our machines, survives into the lonely era, will our descendants believe our records? Will they look at our images of a universe filled with galaxies and think they are myths? The sky used to be full, we will say, and they will look up at the ink-black void and think we were dreaming. We are destined to become the storytellers of a legend that looks like a lie. The truth of the universe will become a fable. This leads us to the final, uncomfortable question. If the universe is erasing evidence of the past, has it happened before? Is it possible that we have already missed something fundamental? Maybe there was an era before the Big Bang that was erased by inflation. Maybe there were structures in the early universe that faded before we opened our eyes. We assume we are seeing the whole story, but we might just be reading the middle chapters of a book that has had its beginning torn out. In the final part, the camera turns around. After realizing that we are losing the universe, we face an even stranger truth. From far away, we are the ones who are lost. To distant observers, Earth itself is not yet real. The illusion of light traps everyone, not just us. Now, for the final twist, we must turn the camera around. We have spent this entire journey looking out, analyzing the lies the universe tells us about the past. We have looked at the pillars that are gone and the stars that are dying. But after all the delays, distortions, and erasures, the final illusion is not out there in the deep dark. It is here. It is us. The most unsettling truth of this documentary is not that we are looking at ghosts in space, but that to the rest of the universe, we are the ghosts. We think of ourselves as the observers, holding the telescope, peering into the aquarium. But in a universe made of light and time, the glass works both ways. Imagine an alien civilization located in the Virgo cluster, roughly 65 million light-years away. They possess technology we can only dream of, a telescope the size of a solar system, with perfect resolution and perfect clarity. They point this godlike instrument toward a small, unremarkable yellow star in the outskirts of a spiral galaxy called the Milky Way. Around that star, they focus their lenses on a pale blue planet orbiting in the habitable zone. They are looking directly at Earth. They are zooming in on our continents. But here is the terrifying part. They do not see us. They do not see New York City glowing at night. They do not see the Great Wall of China. They do not see satellites or roads or the internet. They do not see humans at all. What they see is a completely different world. A warmer planet with higher sea levels, dense tropical forests covering the poles, and massive reptilian creatures walking across the land. In their telescope, Tyrannosaurus Rex is moving through the frame right now, hunting and eating, completely unaware that he is being observed across an impossible distance. To the aliens, the dinosaurs are not history. They are the breaking news. This is not a glitch. To the Virgo cluster, the dinosaurs are alive right now. The light carrying the image of their extinction has not reached the aliens yet. And the light carrying the image of human civilization, our wars, our art, our faces, is still struggling to leave our local group of galaxies. It is stuck in the transit lounge of space-time. It will not reach the Virgo cluster for another 65 million years. As far as the rest of the universe is concerned, humanity has not happened yet. We are a rumor that hasn't started spreading. This reveals the ultimate weakness of our existence. It is purely local. We assume that because we are here, the universe knows we are here. But that is a lie. Every radio signal we send, every I Love Lucy broadcast, every military radar ping, it all expands outward at the speed of light. That feels fast to us, but on a cosmic scale, it is painfully slow. It crawls inch by inch into the dark. Our radio bubble is only about 200 light-years wide. Beyond that tiny sphere, we do not exist. We are invisible. The universe is not a live video call. It is a series of letters sent by slow mail across an ocean that gets wider every day. This creates a state of chronological quarantine. Each civilization, each planet, each observer is locked inside their own bubble of awareness, surrounded by delayed images of others who may already be gone. We are alone, not because the universe is empty, but because light isolates us. It builds a wall of time around every star system. Even if intelligent life is common, the odds of two civilizations sharing the same present are vanishingly small. We are waving at them, and they are waving at us, but our waves will miss each other by 1,000,000 years. This reframes the famous Fermi paradox. Where is everybody? Perhaps they are there. Perhaps the sky is full of them. But we are looking at their past, before they evolved, and they are looking at our past, before we evolved. We are two ships passing in the night, but the night is so thick with time that we cannot see each other's lights. We are ghosts to each other. We are separated by a canyon so wide that a scream takes an eternity to cross it. By the time the sound arrives, the one who screamed has long since turned to dust. This means that extinction can happen silently. A civilization could rise, build wonders, explore its solar system, and then disappear in a cataclysm without ever being known beyond its local region. Its signals might still be traveling outward, carrying its poetry and its math long after its last city fell quiet. Or they might never arrive anywhere meaningful at all, fading into the background static of the cosmos, unheard and unremembered. In this universe, survival is not enough. To be real, you must be observed, and the speed of light ensures that almost no one is watching. We are trapped in solitary confinement, not by walls or bars, but by distance. And the universe is likely filled with other cells just like ours, each containing a lonely civilization, wondering why the cosmos is so quiet. We are all shouting into a pillow. This is the quiet cruelty of physics. Light gives us knowledge. It lets us see the stars, but it also cages us. It teases us with a view of the cosmos, but it prevents us from ever truly touching it. We are the prisoners of the delay. When we look up at the night sky, we feel like witnesses to something vast and shared. We feel connected, but in truth, each observer sees a different universe, a different time slice, a different version of reality. There is no master timeline stitching it all together, only overlapping delays. The dinosaurs once ruled Earth, unaware they were being watched by future eyes that hadn't evolved yet. Today, humans rule Earth, unaware of who might be watching us from far away, seeing a world where we do not yet exist. We are performing on a stage, but the audience is watching the previous act. To the distant cosmos, we are not extinct. We are unborn. We are a potential future that hasn't arrived. This realization completes the circle of our documentary. The universe we see is already dead in places. The universe that sees us has not seen us yet. Everyone is out of sync. Everyone is isolated. Everyone is mistaking delayed light for presence. The light illusion traps everything in its amber. Stars die without announcement. Galaxies vanish without goodbye. Reality becomes local. Meaning becomes temporary. And so, we end where we began. Not with destruction, but with delay. Not with silence, but with echoes. We live in a universe where knowledge always trails reality, where existence is confirmed too late, and where even our own presence is invisible to most of what exists. We are not standing in the universe, watching it unfold live. We are embedded inside it, mistaking memories for now. We are reading yesterday's newspaper and thinking it predicts tomorrow. We are swimming in a river of time that flows at different speeds for everyone. But there is a strange comfort in this. If the universe is a graveyard of dead stars and ancient ghosts, then we are the exception. We are the now. We are the rare, living, breathing moment in a cosmos filled with the past. We are the universe waking up and looking at itself. We are the archivists of reality, the ones who give meaning to the light before it fades. The stars may be dead, but we are alive to witness their memory. And that act of witnessing is the most powerful thing in physics. We have explored the pillars of creation that are gone. We have seen the Great Erasure that is coming. We have looked into the Hall of Mirrors and the Wall of Fire, and through it all, we have realized that our perspective is fragile. We are living in the only golden era where the universe is visible. That gives us a responsibility. We must look up. We must map the dark. We must understand the illusion, because we are the only ones who can. We are the custodians of the cosmic story. To the cosmos, we are still a future rumor. To ourselves, the cosmos is already a graveyard. And between those two illusions, life unfolds, quietly, briefly, and alone. We build our cities, we love our families, and we look up at the stars, searching for meaning in the light. But the light is old, and the stars are far, and the message is always the same. You are here. You are now. And that is the only place you will ever truly be. The rest is just a ghost story, told by photons crossing the dark. This documentary has been a journey into the terrifying scale of that ghost story. If you want to continue peeling back the layers of the universe, if you want to explore the paradoxes that define our reality, then this channel, Strange Space, is built for you. We don't just look at the stars, we look at the physics that hides them. We are building a community of observers who are not afraid of the dark. So, join us, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in a universe this large, the signal is easy to miss, and you don't want to be left in the silence. The universe is dead to us, and we are unborn to it. We are suspended in the beautiful, terrifying gap between the past and the future. But in that gap, we have something the stars do not. We have the present moment. We have the ability to wonder. And perhaps, in that silence, amidst the lagging light and the vanishing galaxies, is the only peace we will ever find. Keep looking up, because even if the stars are ghosts, they are beautiful ghosts, and they are waiting for you to see them.